Every time I see an apple on the dining table, I can't help but think of Lindsey, who used to secretly slip an apple into my school bag, her face full of freckles. In middle school, I had a good friend named Lindsey. She was a shy girl, and I was the complete opposite, always full of energy, lively, and noisy. Despite our different personalities, it didn't affect our friendship. She always smiled and said I was her alarm clock, because every morning I would drag her out of her books to go running on the playground. One day, she suddenly ran to find me and told me to open my school bag. I opened my bag, bewildered, only to see her quickly stuff a big red apple into it and say,
"This is for you."
"Why are you giving this to me?" I asked her in confusion. At that time in Taiwan, those big red Fuji apples were imported from Japan and very expensive. Owning such an apple was a luxury for us.
"No reason, just take it."
She finished speaking, her face as red as the apple, and quickly ran away. I stood there, staring blankly at her disappearing figure, thinking, this girl, her family must be selling imported apples or something. From that day on, she often came to find me during breaks. We, two little girls, would hold hands and play, chasing each other in the corridor outside the classroom. Once, we decided to race to see who could run fastest on the playground. She ended up gasping for breath, having to shout for surrender, and we laughed and stopped. I remember one evening during a break, she suddenly grabbed my head in her arm and dragged me along. With my head caught, I couldn't see ahead, so I bent down, closed my eyes, and let her lead me. As she walked, she muttered,
"You are the iron-headed child. You are the iron-headed child."
With her pulling my head, I stumbled along. Our classmates, seeing this scene, laughed uproariously. Suddenly, there was a crash sound of breaking glass. I immediately looked up. Oh my God! My head had hit the glass window of the neighboring class, shattering it. My first thought was, thankfully, it wasn't my head that broke first. We panicked and immediately went to the next class to apologize. Fortunately, the older sisters in the neighboring class accepted our apology and didn't blame us or ask for compensation. After this lesson, this young lady didn't restrain herself but often joked about me, saying I was the genuine iron-headed child that even glass feared. Every time she said that, it always brought laughter from our classmates. Sometimes, Lindsey and I would visit each other's homes. My dad and two sisters liked her very much because she was always so quiet and well-behaved, forming a sharp contrast with me. Once, during a hot pot meal at my house, I intentionally put an extra piece of chili in her bowl. Her face turned red, but she still politely said,
It's very delicious."
We laughed until our stomachs hurt. Back then, we often did our homework together and shared our thoughts. She would tell me about her worries, whether about family or schoolwork, and I would share my dreams and aspirations for the future. Once, she seriously told me,
"I want to be a teacher."
I replied with a smile. "Then I want my child to be your student, to tease you every day." We would sometimes go to a small shop near the school to buy snacks, eating little cookies and candies while talking endlessly. Those sweet memories still warm my heart. During the 3 years of middle school, we were almost inseparable, supporting and accompanying each other. Unfortunately, after entering high school, we went our separate ways and lost contact. High school life was busy and intense, and we were immersed in our studies and new lives. Occasionally, I would think of her and those wonderful times. Over the years, I often thought of her freckled face, short hair, white shirt, black skirt, and chubby figure. I also fondly remembered the faint apple scent in my school bag and being called the iron-headed child during those youthful days. Lindsey, do you still have freckles on your face now? Where are you? Do you occasionally think of me and our carefree childhood? Every time I see a big red apple, I can't help but think of her. That apple symbolizes our pure friendship, with no need for reasons, just pure intentions. Now, I have walked many roads in life, but the days spent with Lindsey are deeply etched in my memory. No matter where she is now, I hope she is happy. Every time I think of her, I smile and thank those carefree youthful days, for they are the purest testament to our friendship. That's my video for today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.